Is 55 okay?
No, let's put it at 65. That seems pretty
But
meaningful.
I think we don't have that much money. It will hit the margin requirement before itself. It's already showing the loss of 1,200 as of now.
Yeah, I see it. That means we put in a trade too big. We just need to get out of this trade completely. Unless we think it's going to turn around, we just need to get out of the trade completely.
Yeah, it's already going to hit it now. 1,500.
Yeah, let's kill it.
Oh no. Shall I come out now? Or just a moment?
Yeah,
I
just
think
cancel it.
shall I come out of the
Yes,
trade
yes,
now?
please cancel it.
Do the trade.
Yeah, and then let's just make sure nothing is open still. It's interesting. I thought 10,000 would be way, way small.
Just 1 minute. I'll just check. 1 minute. It's going to go down now from there. It looks like. So I think we can wait before canceling it. And I think next time I will not change the limit. If it hits, it's otherwise it's okay. It's going to hit now.
See, this is what's so confusing. How much have we lost so far? Have we lost $12? Or did we lost $1,500?
We $1,800, I think.
No, I think we only lost. Well, what about that daily P&L up there? I think that's the actual. I think
Is
that's
it?
our actual loss.
So the difference is point. If we say point one multiplied by 10,000. So what is this?
I think that's just the leverage. That's why I said this system's really funky. So you gotta you're going to want to spend some time with it, but I think that's the leverage because the daily P&L is what we really care about. So we have an unrealized loss of $14 right now.
So shall I come out now? I'm not able to understand that this is the correct amount and this is the correct amount.
I think we've only lost like $15.
Shall I come out as of now then? Then we'll understand how what is the issue.
Well, no, because look, it already says we've lost over $2,000. That's I'm not saying it's impossible to lose $2,000, but we have 2,000 in there. So if we've lost $2,000, it would have already closed us out of the trade.
Yeah, you're right. If it was losing 2000, it would have come out the trade by itself.
Right. So yeah, don't worry about it.
Then 10,000.
So 10,000 is really small. That means it's probably less than $1 a pip, which is good. We want to keep the losses small, and God forbid we just keep an open trade that loses money forever. You know, 300 pips is going to be $300 instead of $300,000.
Okay.
Yeah, do you agree?
Yeah, I'm getting a little confused as of now.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It's a funny thing.
Yeah, because in demo account, paper trading account, it shows something else. And this and this are same in that case. Here it is, both are different. That's why I'm getting confused maybe. But if it is, this is 94 dot, how much percentage we have lost as of now? We see actually 0.1, approximately 0.1 divided by 94 multiplied by 100. This is mean 0.1% we have lost.
Hmm.
0.1% of 10,000. 10,000. 1% is 100. 0.1% must be 10. So it is correct. It is $12 only. So we have lost approximately $13 only. It's not 1800
Yeah,
dollar.
yep, that's what I figured. So
So I will do the stop loss in target like we were doing it before. I really got scared. I thought the first one itself is going wrong. So profit will be, I'm saying, 93 as of now, keeping approximately 1% as profit. Stop loss will be, you said, 94.65. Shall we make it bigger? Jordan,
what are we making bigger?
a stop loss.
Uh, what was our original stop loss? Was it the 90? Was it the 96?
96.
94.60?
No, we
because it's
didn't keep
falling
the
again.
stop. We didn't do it as of now. So shall I make it 7? 94.70. That much we should have stoppers, I think. Otherwise, it can hit any time. We're
Well, our
keeping the
stop
target.
losses need to be big enough to where they don't just get hit because of
Right,
volatility. So they probably need to be at least 20 pips.
20 pips. So it should be 40. So 90.
So our entry price is 94, basically 94.40. So we'd want to have at least a 94.60, possibly even a 94.70. I mean, if it's we want to make it big enough. We want to have it big enough because we want a meaningful stop. We don't want to just have a random stop, right? We want to have a stop that we know if it moves and past our stop, we were wrong on the trade. But at the
Right.
same time, we don't want to have it so big that if we try to flip the other direction because it's a momentum trade and we're expecting a big trade, that we're already starting off with a really big loss. So we may have to like kind of go back and forth and see the best way to play that.
So should I make it 75 as of now?
Make it 75 for now, and then we'll play off of it. Remember, these are very small trades, so we're really getting a chance to play with
Yeah.
numbers without taking real risk.
I'll do one thing. I'll do the calculation beforehand. So next time. So I'm placing the order now.
That's a good idea.
Order this. AUD will be automatic. Cancel that. What is this? I don't understand what it's saying. Okay. Are you able to understand what it is saying? AUD 25,000. Okay.
That's fine. Just an odd lot order.
Okay. Fine. So anyway, we have put the stop loss in target, so I will keep tracking it. I will update you on this. So yeah, it went a little down. Okay, Jordan. I will track it and I will update you on this.
All right. Exciting.
Yeah.
We can be excited and we can not lose a lot of money no matter what. So
Yeah, yeah.
we'll just keep
And
testing it.
yeah, yeah. So I think this itself, this first trade itself gave a lot of experience to me at least, that how what to do, what not to do.
Agree.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sunil.
Thanks a lot, Jordan, to be stand by me with me.
I will. Talk soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
So very interesting day today. I got two screens up here because I can't switch this to a lower time frame. But I got really chopped up right here in this area because after seeing this, I thought maybe it's coming back in, and I took some shorts, I took some longs, and I got hurt. I got hurt. That was super annoying. But when I woke up, I thought, okay, today's a Friday. We've been seeing some explosive moves. We got liquidity. I know people are trying to flip long. And if you look on the daily will show you that, hey, people are uh, taking prices down, and it seems to be because of some of the tech earnings that came out. So let's just see what happens. So I looked at this and I thought, maybe I need to wait for it to break out of here because it might just do this all day long. And finally, price jumped very nicely. I didn't get on this one, unfortunately, but luckily I didn't because it came all the way back to the 20. Now, this would have been a nice place to jump in, but it's the 5 minute. I don't normally look at the 5 minute. But if you look over here in that same spot, you can see it coming down here. This is a 2 minute chart. Came down here real nicely. This is after I was already at a full stop for the day. I thought my stop was 2,500. Luckily, I guess luckily, on a bad day, I guess it would have been unluckily. I still had some up to 5,000 to lose for the day. So I said, let me take something. It popped up kind of nicely and it started. I was really what I was doing. I was staring at the dome, and the dome was just kind of like this. And then all of a sudden it was doing this. And then all of a sudden it just like really, really wanted to go long. It was almost like watching the Matrix. I was Neo going, whoa. And all of a sudden it looked like price just really wanted to go long. And so I just took this long right here at the 50 level, wherever that is. And I thought, I'll risk another 3 points just because I think this thing could really go if it goes. And it fucking launched all day. Now, granted, I wanted to go to the gym and do some other things. So I got in at 51, got out at almost 70. That's fine. It's almost 20 full points on 6 contracts. I'm not upset at that. It gave me a nice win for the day, and I did not have the wherewithal, the guts, the gastrointestinal fortitude to take any of these longs off here because I thought, I've had a great day. I don't want to ruin it. It's Friday. Let's just go home a big winner. And that's what I did. So I'm thinking on Monday, the price might try to jump through what Friday did. So if it, I'm thinking Monday could be an open drive or open test and drive. That's really what I'm looking for. If I get that, I might try to bang out 12 contracts instead of 6. I'm going to be super bullish, but I'm going to be also super patient. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Before we were using Monday.com, our team was drowning in work. Our days used to split between work and managing work, but Monday.com just took care of it.
Today, I'm reacting to Adriana Chechik's recent TwitchCon injury.
Oh my God!
Big Sim is some sense of her own.
I'll explain how this jump left her with...
Big Sim.
Today, I'm reacting to Adriana Chechik's recent TwitchCon injury.
Oh my God!
Big Sim is some sense of her own.
I'll explain how this jump left her with multiple broken vertebrae, what the follow-up surgeries entailed, and what
Oh my God!
Big Sim.
recent TwitchCon injury.
Oh my God!
Big Sim is some sense of her own.
I'll explain how this jump left her with multiple broken vertebrae, what the follow-up surgeries entailed, and what she can expect moving forward. I just heard about this incident from the godfather of internet drama, Moist Critical.
Twitch streamer named Adriana Chechik was partaking in a fun booth at TwitchCon where you push each other off a pedestal into a foam pit.
As we saw in footage, she wasn't even pushed. Compared to some of the things we've covered on this channel, this incident looks, at first glance, fairly underwhelming. But looks can be deceiving.
It was a foam kiddie pool. In fact, it wasn't even as deep as a kiddie pool. It was more like a foam flatbread, and it was just over cement.
Oh, well, that changes things. And thus, the innocent jump had devastating results. Adriana took to Twitter shortly after the injury to share more information. Well, I broke my back in 2 places, and I'm getting surgery to put a meter rod in for support today. Send your support. When it rains, it pours, and I am definitely feeling the rain right now. And she has remained active throughout the process, shedding light on surgical procedures used and the recovery process. So, surgery went well. 5 hours and 30 minutes. More fusions than expected. Bones completely crushed and nerve damage to my bladder. Hopefully, I'll be able to pee again in the near future. No more squirting probably. Had some bleeding around the bone, but overall, doing good. 5.5 hours under the knife is a long time, and we'll talk about what the surgeons did and why it may have taken so long in a moment. But first, what other information can we glean from the event footage?
You good? Great victory there. I can't get out. Okay.
What other information can we glean from the event footage?
You good? Great victory there. I can't get out. Okay.
Immediately following the injury, she knows something is wrong, unable to move or stand, as the symptoms of a spinal fracture immediately begin to show themselves. Though it may vary depending on the severity and the exact location of the injury, symptoms include back or neck pain, numbness, tingling, muscle spasm, weakness, bowel and bladder changes, and paralysis, full or partial. Think about it. When a person suffers a minor injury or maybe tweaks something, they may actually be more expressive, rolling around in pain, slowly getting up and attempting to walk it off. But when something is really wrong, well, you're in shock. For every second she is quiet and frozen, I worry more and more.
She's held down by the pitbull. Medic!
Gravity.
No, she's fine.
Pro tip. If you are ever around someone who is experiencing some level of weakness or paralysis following a fall onto their tailbone or back, try not to pass off the situation as inconsequential. You cannot determine the severity of an injury by the absence of overt indicators. That is to say, screams for pain.
All right, we'll make sure she's okay. Get her out of the pit.
Landed on her tailbone.
Adriana is definitely feeling a sense of shock, although there is no indication at this point that she is suffering yet from a condition known as neurogenic shock. Neurogenic shock is caused by damage to the central nervous system, usually via a spinal cord injury, common in patients who suffer severe acute spinal trauma. This occurs when the descending tracts of the sympathetic nervous system are disrupted by a fracture or dislocation of vertebrae in the cervical or upper thoracic spine, and you lose fight or flight stimulation. The body's parasympathetic system, which usually acts in opposition to the fight or flight response, is now unopposed, and its rest and digest functions begin to take over, leading to vasodilation, decreased heart rate and low blood pressure, and possible loss of consciousness. A person experiencing the symptoms of neurogenic shock is definitely in danger, and certainly isn't theatrical about it. Adriana is lucky that someone with a trained medical eye was nearby. A special shout out to the random off-work EMT, who got workers of the booth to realize how bad I was injured, and to make them keep me still and calm me down until others got there. You really kept me from crying badly. Now, you may still be at home thinking, how can a fall from that height be so devastating, even if it is on concrete? Well, let's break down the situation. At the height of her jump, Adriana looks to be fairly high off the ground. What interests us is the distance of her tailbone to the concrete floor beneath her. A conservative estimate might fall between 7 to 10 feet. Research shows that serious spinal injury is most common in victims of falls from over 10 feet, but can occur at lesser heights. Sean Hughes, a professor of surgery at Imperial College in London, explains it doesn't take much of a fall to cause damage. From a height of 3 meters, roughly 10 feet, you could fracture your spine. Unfortunately, Adriana is dangerously close to this critical height. Now, in falls from a height, the first body part that hits the ground and the injuries resulting from the impact of the fall affect the morbidity and mortality of the patient. The head and cervical spine are the worst places to fall, but the rest of the spine is a close second. That's why Professor Hughes goes on to say that landing on your side might be the best way to survive a fall. You know, to keep the most vital structures out of harm's way. In Adriana's case, she fell in a slightly reclined position, with legs outstretched such that her tailbone is the first thing to make contact with the ground. If she had fallen in a more upright position, her buttocks and thighs might have absorbed some of the downward momentum, but as it stands, her coccyx and sacrum are virtually unprotected. These bones have very little tissue separating them from the ground, literally just the skin. And as a result, all of the force was transferred into her spine.
It was only 2 layers of foam blocks, basically, over cement.
And because the blocks are so few, it is possible for her falling body to act as a wedge, moving them out of the way. What's worse, the spine is designed to bear axial load from above or below with the vertebrae stacked vertically. It is
As they're going to drill a relief hole to get started here.
Oh my gosh. I was thinking they needed to get a bigger drill, but actually they don't.
There's
Never seen
that
anything
much
like
pressure and
Oh my
water
gosh.
underneath there. Yeah.
Look at Joey's
Joey's reaction.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that.
Nope.
That was my first lap up there. I thought the track was coming apart, and apparently it has something to do with water.
As they're going to drill a relief.
Calisthenics really leave people amazed.
And I can put you in.
Calisthenics really leave people amazed.
You realize you just landed that plane with 2 vehicles on the runway? You never called for clearance at all, sir. That could have been catastrophic. This will be reported.
Okay, that's fine. We'll do our reports too. Thanks, guys. We tried number 2 radio. Did you hear anything at all?
No, we didn't hear nothing. No, I just wondered why you'd land an airplane if you weren't 100% sure that the runway was clear.
It looked clear to us. I actually didn't notice that blower till the rollout. So, because I guess probably the snow blowing there, I didn't see any light.
You realize you just landed that...
Baby, I'm a gangster too. Maybe I'm a gangster too.
And he's your favorite fighter?
Duran, yes.
Most people assume that it's
Three-dimensional cap-like shoulders help form a V-shaped appearance for your upper body, making you appear leaner, more attractive, and more athletic. It also helps your arms look significantly more muscular when you have pronounced shoulders that appear to separate from the rest of the muscles in your arms. Unfortunately, many guys make the same common mistakes that prevent them from adding any meaningful mass to their shoulders at all. So today I want to go over 8 of the most common mistakes that are holding you back in terms of bulking up those shoulders. And the first one that I see all the time is that most people don't train through a full range of motion, especially when doing exercises like overhead presses. If you're someone that actually does go all the way down when you do overhead presses, next time you go to the gym, take a look at how most people perform their barbell, dumbbell, and machine overhead presses. You'll see that most people don't lower the weight further than the point where their upper arms are parallel to the floor before pressing the weight back up. What you want to do instead is lower the weight all the way down until your hands are at least at ear level, and you can go even lower than that until the dumbbells are about the same height as your shoulders. This is beneficial because it's specifically the lower part of the exercise that stimulates the delts the most. The upper part, on the other hand, is largely a function of the triceps. If we divide the motion of an overhead press into a lower, middle, and upper portion, we can see that the triceps are heavily involved in locking out the weight during that upper portion, not so much your shoulders. Your shoulders fire fully in the lower and middle portions of this exercise. On top of the fact that your shoulders are more active in the lower and the middle section, research also indicates that in general, training through a greater range of motion is better for muscle growth. For example, studies show that full squats cause more glute and adductor growth than partial squats, and full range of motion curls produce more bicep growth when compared to partial curls. Another common mistake is that you're focusing too much on the front delts, but not enough on the side and the rear delts. This is usually done unintentionally, and this issue can even affect advanced bodybuilders. Performing a disproportionate amount of volume for your front delts is common for 2 reasons. First, one of the most staple shoulder exercises in everyone's routine is the overhead press. Unfortunately, the overhead press, as great of an exercise as it is, focuses primarily on the front delts. Meanwhile, the side and especially the rear delts get much less activation. The second and also the bigger issue is the fact that you already train your front delts quite a bit during all your horizontal pressing exercises, like the dumbbell and barbell bench press. So when you train your chest, you inadvertently also train the front part of your shoulders a lot. Even your rear delts will get recruited to a decent extent when you perform different pulling exercises like pull-ups, rows, and especially bent over high rows. But that's not the case for the side delts, which are especially important for giving your shoulders that wide look. With the exception of upright rows, which can actually lead to shoulder impingement, your side delts are not activated to a very significant extent for most other compound exercises, including the bench press, pull-ups, and rows. That's why you want to put extra emphasis on training your side delts during your shoulder workouts. There are pretty much no lifters that need to do isolation exercises for their front delts, like dumbbell frontal raises, for example. However, pretty much every lifter can benefit by adding more side and rear delt exercises like dumbbell lateral raises and cable reverse flies. Now, on top of the aesthetic benefits, focusing on the side and rear delts is also beneficial from a posture and shoulder health perspective. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Biomechanics found that strengthening the posterior head of the deltoid helps to ensure shoulder joint integrity and reduces the likelihood of a shoulder injury. Next is the mistake of saving your shoulder exercises till the end of your workout, or simply hitting shoulders too late in your workout. Many studies, including a randomized controlled trial, chest, shoulders, and triceps, for example, in presses, it would be much better to hit them and target your mid and rear deltoids like bent arm lateral raises and dumbbell reverse flies can wind up being extremely beneficial for balancing out the shape of your shoulders. Even if you start the workout with overhead presses, which target more of your front delt, starting off with shoulder exercises can help you lift significantly more weight than if you were to finish with shoulder exercises, and that in turn will benefit muscle growth. Another mistake is allowing your traps to take over for your delts. This definitely isn't the case for everyone, but some people feel shoulder exercises, and especially side delt exercises, more in their traps than they do in their shoulders. Due to this increased level of trap activation, their traps grow like crazy while their shoulders get left behind. This can be a tricky situation because unfortunately it's impossible to stimulate your delts without also having your traps involved in the movement. But the good news is that there are a couple things you can do to reduce trap recruitment. First, you can static stretch your traps before you do your shoulder workout. Various studies show that stretching a muscle for 60 seconds or longer decreases subsequent muscle activation during exercise. You can effectively stretch your traps by simply bending one arm and putting it behind your back as you take your opposite hand and pull your head down to the side towards your shoulder. You'll want to hold that position for 60 seconds on each side for 1 to 2 sets before training your shoulders. Another great way to train your side delts while reducing trap involvement is to focus on pushing your dumbbells as far away to your sides as possible as you bring them up during a lateral raise, rather than just focusing on lifting them straight up. Moving on to the next one, we have the common problem of not applying progressive overload. It's very interesting. When it comes to the bench press, many lifters try to beat the amount of weight that they lifted the week beforehand or the month beforehand, which is a good thing because increasing the amount of stress you place on your muscles like this stimulates growth. But I find very few people that are focused on trying to increase the amount of weight that they can use on compound shoulder exercises like overhead presses, and especially on isolation exercises like lateral raises. That's a big mistake. When doing shoulder exercises, or any other exercise for that matter, you want to focus on progressive overload. This means that you have to gradually increase the amount of workload that you put on a muscle. It doesn't have to be a huge increase. Small little increments will add up to large increments over time. So focus on just increasing the amount of weight you can lift by even 2.5 pounds in 1 month. If you're doing a weight load for 10 reps and not hitting failure, increase that weight load until you're doing like 6 or 7 reps before hitting failure. Then work on getting your rep count back up to 9 or 10 reps before upping the weight load again and repeating that entire process. This is also why it could be highly beneficial for you to keep track of your workouts so that you know how much weight you used during your last couple workouts and how many reps you were able to do with that weight. This way you always have a tangible number that you can try to beat over time. Another issue you might be running into, aside from just not upping your weight load, is you're not doing enough overall training volume. If you only train your shoulders once per week, or you only do a couple of sets here and there, that's likely the reason why your shoulders aren't growing. To maximize muscle growth, you absolutely have to do enough training volume. In fact, a meta-analysis found a dose-response relationship between training volume and muscle growth in trained lifters. The more sets the participants did, the more muscle they gained. Also, looking closely at another 8-week study where participants did either 1, 3, or 5 sets per exercise, the results once again show that there was a dose-response relationship where higher training volumes led to more muscle growth. So if your shoulders aren't growing, consider doing more sets for that muscle every week. So if you're currently doing, let's say, 9 sets for shoulders per week, try 12 or 15 sets per week and see if that helps you break through your plateau. Now, even though I've just been talking about your shoulder workouts, one of the main reasons you might be struggling to add mass to your shoulders is that you're not consuming enough calories. Consuming enough calories is crucial if you want to maximize muscle growth. So if your shoulders aren't growing, make sure to check whether you are in fact in a calorie surplus. If not, that could be the fix that you need to get your shoulders growing again. Keep in mind, you don't have to go crazy stuffing yourself with as much food as possible. To maximize muscle growth, you don't need that big of a calorie surplus. In fact, a huge surplus can do more bad than good. This was proven in a study where scientists compared muscle growth and fat gain in individuals that consumed different calorie surpluses. While one group consumed a regular calorie surplus, the other group went 600 calories above the regular calorie surplus group. After 12 weeks, both groups gained a statistically similar amount of muscle, but the group that consumed an additional 600 calories gained more than 5 times the amount of fat. So if you want to keep it stupid simple, I recommend that you consume a calorie surplus target of around 5 to 8% above maintenance per day. That'll be enough to maximize muscle growth while minimizing fat gain. gain. Finally, last but not least, you may not be eating enough protein. So not only is getting enough calories important for muscle growth, but you also want to consume enough protein. That's because the amino acids found in protein form the foundation of our muscle mass. In fact, muscle growth is all about building up more protein in a muscle compared to what gets broken down on a daily basis. If you can accomplish that, your muscles will grow. Now, just like with the calorie surplus, more is not necessarily more. A 2018 meta-analysis published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that you only need 0.73 grams per pound of body weight per day. That equals about 131 grams of protein for a 180-pound person. You can, of course, eat more protein than that amount, but based on the scientific evidence, it won't have much more of an effect on your muscle building progress. Instead, I recommend saving those additional calories for fats and carbs that can make your diet more enjoyable. So that about wraps it up. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have, make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're someone that wants any extra help and you want a done-for-you system that'll help you build up all the muscles in your body, including your chest, shoulders, arms, and legs, then head on over to my website where you can get my entire lean muscle building system for free. You'll get a customized diet plan, a 6-week progressive workout plan, a recipe book,
took some bad trades today, especially in the morning. Actually, I should probably start there. Or when I say morning, I mean last night, ETH. So here's what I saw. I saw this is where price was from the day before. That was Sunday, or excuse me, that was Friday. And then here's where it opened on Sunday. And I thought, well, maybe we'll get a situation where the price moves right back to the open because, you know, that happens. And we had a decent area here that we could really get back to. I mean, this is like 12 points. That wouldn't be a bad trade. So what I did is I went long somewhere around in this area, and instead you can see it just kind of fell out of bed. And I didn't catch that move. Why didn't I catch that move? I think I didn't catch the move because number one, I wasn't really doing a good job of protecting myself. Number two, I think of my thinking because it's very slow and methodical when I need it to be very quick and whippy sometimes, as making it analogous to a moving average. And a moving average will go up and down based upon what price has already done. So it's always a lagging indicator. And I tend to be a bit of a lagging indicator, and that's what killed me. And you know, it's difficult to be a lagging indicator when you're a discretionary trader. And then when I finally saw it, it was coming down nicely. Then I tried to take it short, but I took it short right around here, and it real quickly went down and then came back up. And now if you look at this area, this is actually a bit of a shoulder trade. Let's see if I can find a better drawing tool. No, but this will work. No, that's not going to work. So you can see price came down really fast. But look, it's heading into this area that seems to be resistance. Here, comes back. Here, comes back. Last time, comes back. And this was actually pretty quick. What I should have done is I should have gotten out after I saw it trying to continually hit the same spot, because it would have been a perfectly reasonable expectation that had I flipped it, it may have jumped back to this VWAP because there just was no business to be had. I mean, it went down 96.5 to 95.5. So it went down a full point and there was no business to be done in that area. That tells me that price wants to flip long. What did I do? Well, I stayed here and hoped and prayed it would go back down. But if I really love those shoulder trades, look, it's a perfect shoulder trade. It's doing this formation where it's got, here's the inside of the shoulder, and then it's building that flat portion. And that's exactly what I consider a perfect shoulder trade. And so instead of flipping long and grabbing those extra, 3, 4, 5 points, maybe even 6, what's that, 9? Yeah, maybe even 6 points, I just got stopped out. And I lost a bunch of money last night, and then I lost the rest of it this morning. We're going to talk about that there in a second. So again, this is what killed me. Not that I didn't protect myself. It's I didn't think quickly enough, and that really hurt. Okay, so the trade I took this morning whooped my ass too. And I saw price coming down. I knew it was probably going to end up coming back off. I saw the RSIs were oversold. I don't pay a huge amount of attention to that, but when it's there, I do notice, because at some point it usually comes off, unless it's just a day that's just going through the roof or through the floor. But you can see here it came down. I didn't take the profits. I definitely should have protected myself more. I need to think a little bit more about clawing my profits back rather than just making it all back in one fell swoop. But when that happened, I didn't take. It came back up, and I probably didn't do a good job of looking at the market. But if you can see here, what is this? 1 minute chart? This is a 1 minute chart. If you look here, this 2000 tick chart. Nope. My ticks don't work in the first hour of trading, so that kind of made me feel a little blind. But nonetheless, it was a good trade. I just didn't take the profits. And after it started taking off, I just didn't pay enough attention, because what I should have done is, again, I should have flipped long. I should have seen that, hey, the dome is telling me it's trying to go lower. There's no business to be had. Probably should flip long. And what I notice is whenever price goes below my entry, meaning if I'm going short and it goes below my entry and I have a profit, then it gets completely taken out. It's probably a good reason to flip long. Now, this will probably end up going short and going to that 73, 70, 60, 50 area I was looking at. But if there's not enough contracts, if there's not enough volume in the market for it to go down that far, it has to go back up. So sometimes it has to break to rally and it has to rally to break. And I should have taken that profit. I was even thinking in my head, but I think my psychology is off a bit because of the money I lost last night. And instead of that helping me, it actually hurt me. So next Monday is another day. I don't know if I'll be able to trade again this week, possibly on Friday, but lots of lessons learned here. Need to think quicker, need to flip, and if I'm not going to flip, then I just need to get out and wait for a better entry, because 100% of the time that's going to, on balance, my long-term expected value is going to be profitable that way if I can just get out and say, hold on, I need to